Hey guys, David Patrick Green, davidpatrickgreen.com, hackhollywood.com, actorpower.com. Today's a little message for the folks in New York City or anywhere else where you might have more than one representative, such as multiple agents or agents and managers, etc. I know this is a very popular trend in New York City, and I'm going to tell you why I don't think it's helpful and why if you switch to having just one representative, it will cause your career to take off. Okay, so it's very popular in New York City to be hip-pocketed, as they say, which, for those of you who don't know, being hip-pocketed means that an agency isn't signing you under contract. They're basically going to try you out for a while, and if things work out, if they can get you some work, then it's a wait-and-see type of thing. Then, you know, maybe we will sign you. Maybe we will get more serious about you. And so what happens is that an actor will do a hip pocket arrangement with one agency, and then they figure, well, I don't have any loyalty to that agent, so why not do it with other agents? And the next thing you know, you've got people represented by 4, 5, 6 different agencies, or even multiple people within the same agency. And that leads to a lot of confusion. So what you need to do to figure out a lot of these situations is put yourself in the shoes of the person that you have the relationship with. So put yourself in the shoes of your agent, or put yourself in the shoes of a casting director that you are submitting to, or anybody else who's connected to this scenario, and ask yourself, does this make sense? Is this a positive thing? Will they enjoy it? Will it be good for them? And will it be good for me? So let's just start off with the listings on the submission sites. So if an agent is submitting you and they look at your representation and they see themselves along with 5 or 6 other agencies, how do you think that makes them feel? Do you think it makes them feel like there's any loyalty going on whatsoever? Probably not. It also probably makes them wonder, who's going to get the money if I submit them and you get an audition and you book the job? Like, how do they divide that up? How do they figure that out? I have no idea, but it looks like a disaster in the making. I suppose that the casting director sees whichever submission they see from whichever agency, and they say, okay, I will bring this actor in. I suppose that they make that decision based on the first one they see. Or, I don't know, maybe they have seen that actor before and they may remember that you're connected to another agency, and they may look for that agency's submissions, but it just sounds extremely confusing and leads to a lot of potential frustration, because maybe you get the audition and book the job and your other agents find out about it and they will feel not great because they did the same work that this agent did, but they didn't make any of the money from it. They don't get any of the rewards, and you also don't feel anything particular towards them because their work, their efforts did not result in anything happening to either you or to them. But they are going to be mostly concerned with what happens to them. So that scenario alone, you know, not good. So you have the casting directors who sees multiple listings and potentially multiple submissions for each actor, which doesn't look professional, doesn't look like an actor has their you-know-what-T together, which I don't think is very helpful to the actor. And then you've got the agency who sees all these listings and thinks, well, this actor doesn't really care that much about me, so why should I care that much about them? And the actor themselves is hearing from all these different agents, and yet none of the agents really have any affinity, like they're not showing any loyalty to the actor either, because they won't sign them. So the actor doesn't feel good either, and they're like, well, you know, who cares about any of this? I'll take what I can get. And it turns into a very dog-eat-dog situation where it's very difficult to develop any meaningful relationships because you're naturally cheating on each other. So it's very similar to dating. If you just date a whole bunch of people, there may be a short-term benefit in that, whatever you get out of it, but there's no potential for growth. It's very difficult to grow a relationship when you're splitting that relationship up with many other people. And it's exactly the same in business, meaning with agents, that there's really no way to grow a relationship with an agency or a manager if you are dating all these other agents and managers, and vice versa. They have who knows how many actors, and because they need to submit 4 or 5 times as many actors to get the same amount of money as if everybody just stuck to the same people. Now, why this situation exists, I don't know. It's almost like, well, we can date around, so we do. But I think it actually ends up hurting everyone in the end because nobody knows who's with anybody else. So, actors in New York, I recommend you break that trend and you find somebody based on what it is you think you want to do and who they represent, and if it seems like a fit, meet a bunch of agents that you think might be a fit for you and lay the groundwork down for them. Build the best case you possibly can for them to want to represent you, meaning you do tons of work, you're working on relationships with casting directors, with producers, etc., and you are extremely talented and you let them know exactly what you are talented in, and you tell them all you need to do is blah, 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 blah. Whatever it is you want them to do. And then you say, look, this is how I operate. You're only going to have to do a little bit of the work, but I want to build a long-term relationship where we both reap the rewards. And that's how I want to work. I don't want to work on this part-time, come-hither basis. And I think if you start out like that, you lay down the ground rules, and you get them to agree to your ground rules, and you say, hey, we will meet once a month and we'll discuss my progress so far. I will tell you what I've been doing, you tell me what you've been doing. Maybe you get a weekly submission report, which is basically an email of all the things they have submitted you for, because then you can get an indication of what people seem to see you as. And it isn't going to boil down to, oh, you need new headshots, which is basically the only thing I ever hear coming out of agents' mouths is you need new headshots, because they don't want to say something like, maybe you don't have any talent, or maybe you need to work on your talent, or maybe you need to take more acting lessons because, I have gotten you into some rooms and the response hasn't been very positive. Whatever it is, you need honest feedback, and to get honest feedback, it really helps to have a strong relationship that's based on trust and commitment, not one that's just, oh yeah, whatever. Because if it's whatever, why would you bother being honest with someone and saying something that they might not like when you don't really have that much invested in them? Don't tell them. Let them find out from somebody else, right? So anyway, folks in New York, I think, and this applies everywhere, if you have multiple representatives, just know that it's very difficult to build trust and build a bond and build a business on something that's just requiring just a ton of work just to figure out what is actually going on, and where you always know that the person you're working with is also working with 10 other people and vice versa. And so you're really not that invested in one another's success. I think you'll find that just like in personal relationships, if you commit and invest your time and effort into that relationship, it will pay much greater rewards than this idea of being hip-pocketed all over town. The reason why picking one agent will make your career take off is that all of a sudden you and the agent will feel like your futures are inexorably connected, that there is more of a direct path between what their work yields in terms of results. They don't have to submit 5 actors to get one result. They can submit 1 actor to get one result because they know that actor is only being represented by them and vice versa. So there's going to be a lot more communication, and people will be far more willing to communicate when they know there's that commitment. Also, you're going to get to know each other a lot better when you are just working with one agent. They're going to get to know you better, you're going to get to know them better, and so of course working together is going to be a lot more pleasant. You can get together, maybe have lunches or coffees or dinners or whatever, and really invest time in that relationship. So when things are a little down, and just as much as when things are up, you will both feel like, you know what, we're in this together and we can celebrate together. And, you know, when one of us needs a pick-me-up, we'll be there. Whereas when you're dating multiple people, the response tends to be, I don't really want to be with someone who's a downer. You know, we only want to be with someone who's doing well, but they don't want to be with us unless we're doing well. And so, you know, there's that just really non-committal way of doing things, but at the same time, there is no depth and there is no growth. So I feel like if you have someone who knows you well and who you have come to an agreement with, they're going to work not only harder for you, but they will work smarter for you, and vice versa. Because when they pick up the phone, because you agree that when certain roles come along, that they are going to push you as hard as they can, and if that means picking up the phone, they will, they're going to know exactly what to say. They're going to know exactly how to communicate to the casting director that you are perfect for this job and they absolutely must see you. And you're also going to be able to get more creative with each other because there's more trust. So if you have an idea, like you say, hey, you know what, why don't we say that I'm out of town. If they don't want to give me an appointment, I'll just say I'm out of town and I'll just do a self-tape and send it in because I know I am so perfect for this. And then they're going to probably see it, and the agent might think, well, you know, if I didn't know you that well, I think that was a crazy idea, but now that I know you and I know you're going to deliver, I think that's a great idea. So let's try it, you know, and that's what's going to happen. You're going to be able to try more things. You're both going to be more psyched about what you're doing. And I think it's just going to be more enjoyable all around. So anyway, guys, that is why not only I think you should, but that's why I think you're going to get much better results and your career is going to take off much faster if you just work with that one person. I hope this was helpful, guys. I certainly know it was. I wish somebody had told me this a long time ago. So if you liked it, give me the thumbs up. Please ask me a question, write a comment, share this with your friends, your colleagues, cohorts, and confidants. And click on that bell and subscribe to get more videos just like this. We will talk to you soon.